All right, so I'm here to welcome you to our LLD State of the Lodge Interactive Forum. My name is Jamie Boylan. I will be the loose host of this meeting, and I want to introduce the people that we'll have talking about the LLD and just about other general matters in the lodge. So we'll start with Pat, and Pat can send to somebody else.
Sorry. Thanks, Jamie. So like Jamie said, I'll be talking about my LLD video and a few other things, but I'll send it to Ben Pope.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Ben Pope. I'm Lodge Secretary, and I'll be talking about my presentation as well for the LLD, and I'll turn it over to Nick Johnson.
Hi guys, as Ben just said, I'm Nick. I'm going to be talking about my presentation that hopefully you guys might have seen and a few other things along the way. Let's see, I'll turn it over to Eric Grady.
Thanks, Nick. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric Grady. I'm the Tulpe Lodge Treasurer, and I'm going to be talking about the Active Airman Award for Tulpe Lodge and a couple other things throughout the afternoon. I'll turn it over to Mr. Paulson.
Hey, everybody. My name is David Paulson. I'm the Lodge Advisor for Tulpe Lodge 102. I'm talking about opportunities for adults to further themselves in the Order of the Arrow.
I'm Nathan Wetmore, and I'm going to be talking about Winter Fellowship in our virtual event for that. I'm going to turn it over to Greg Golden.
My name is Greg Golden. I am the banquet chairman for the 2021 banquet. So today I'll be giving you guys some updates about our next banquet and what our plans are for.
All right, great. So now that everybody knows who everybody is, we'll get right into it. So obviously this year we did not have a lodge leadership development like normal years, at least in person. However, we did film 4 videos that are on the website at tulpelodge.org/virtual LLD. That link should appear in the chat any second now. And that was sort of our substitution for not having an in-person event this year. And so how this works, many of you probably already know this, but for those of you who don't, you will watch 2 of those videos, and then you'll be able to fill out a 3-2-1 form that we will also be posting in the chat soon. And basically that's just 3 things you learned. It's like three questions, 2 questions, and then 1 question on different subjects, just so we know you've completed the videos. And that form will be open until January 1st. And the purpose of that is so that we know that you watched the videos, and that's how you will receive credit for that on the Active Airman Award, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. So I'm going to pass it over. We're going to have each of our presenters give a little quick blurb about what they presented on and why it's important. And then we'll open it up to any questions if any of you have any. So I'll start with Ben Pope.
Thanks, Jamie. So my presentation for the LLD was bringing the OA to the unit, and this was mostly targeted at youth that had just gone to one of their first OA events, and pretty much what they can do to draw in more interest at the troop level or just wherever their unit is level. So some of the main points we talked about in a presentation was just staying in connection with the lodge and chapter leadership here at Tulpe Lodge. We have a bunch of people that are very open, checking emails, checking all the social medias, just checking everything for questions that you guys might have about just what you can do in the future. We also mentioned how you can establish yourself as like taking a position in the lodge, or taking a position in your troop rather, that involves the OA. So some of those include OA troop rep, if you guys don't currently have that, or if you want to be involved with being a webmaster and you can get more information about the OA through that as well. It just helps getting the word out, making sure that you're talking to your adult leadership just to make sure that they are talking about the OA in a reasonable manner at your troop meetings, and pretty much just discussing with your fellow scouts on the AOA what you found interesting about it, what you got out of the experience, and why they should go back. Yeah, that's pretty much what I went over in the presentation. I'm going to turn over to Nick Johnson to talk about his presentation next.
Hi guys. So essentially my presentation was all about chapters and how you can play a role in your chapter and how your chapter can also play a role in helping your troop. It's kind of a step up from just being a new member, and now you're trying to get more actively involved in the lodge and maybe already serving in a position like a troop representative or something like that, and want to incorporate the Order of the Arrow into your scouting program a little bit deeper and be in a position eventually where some of us are right now. So we kind of talk about how chapters are divided up, almost like patrols of the entire lodge, and how each patrol or chapter contributes to the overall programming of the lodge by helping plan events like Winter Fellowship, ordeals, and how the lodge or how chapters give an opportunity to meet people around your area and help you guys plan your unit elections once a year. So yeah, I'm gonna send it over to who's next? Pat, I think.
Yeah, that worked. Sorry again. Thanks, Nick. So my training, my LLD training was a little bit more rudimentary. We talked a lot about what the OA is about and what we do more on like a lodge level. So we talked a little bit about Winter Fellowship, what the LLD is generally for. We talked about our ordeal process and all those sort of things. A lot of the stuff we covered was more about a traditional year that we have. So there'll be some updates to that actually coming today during this. From our banquet and for our Winter Fellowship. But yeah, we just took some time. If you're a new member, I totally suggest it. Or even if you're not and you want to learn a little bit more about some events you haven't attended before, give it a watch. It's pretty informative. It might send you to a few places to learn about some things like our websites or our social media. But yeah, it's a pretty intro level for new members or for anyone who's just looking to learn more about what our lodge is about. But with that, last but not least, I'll turn it over to Mr. Paulson.
Thank you, Pat. The role of an adult in the OA for any adult member is you're actually an advisor, and that can mean a whole range of things. It can be just being an active member of the lodge, paying your dues, attending events, and having fun, or it can be just simply serving as a model hourman in your troop, encouraging members of your troop to go through the ordeal, seal their membership as their brotherhood, and just being a general advocate for the Order of the Arrow. That being said, as much as this is a youth-run organization, there is a good backbone of adult leadership, and this is where we could use your help. So consider getting involved at a committee level, a chapter level, a lodge level, everything from logistics to health officers to the kitchen crew. There's a role for everybody, and we recognize that as an adult, you may wear many hats in the scouting movement, and we hope this one is the most enjoyable, the funnest one that's also dynamic. It won't get stale, and the beauty of working in a lodge our size is always something to do, and the youth are always coming up with new ideas to engage and activate our membership. To that end, if you'd like to get more involved as an adult, please email me at leadership@tulpelodge.org, and we can have a further conversation. Thank you, Pat.
Great, thanks, Mr. Paulson. So just to cover what I said before in a little more detail. It was a little confusing. So you're going to click that link after you've watched these videos, or if you haven't watched these videos yet, you can click that link in the chat, and that's going to send you over to our website. There, there'll be 4 steps. You can start by first watching the Lodge Advisors Minute, which there's a link to. Then you will watch 3 of the LLD videos, and the links are on the webpage. I misspoke earlier. I said you have to watch 2. You're supposed to watch 3. And after you do that, the link for a debrief form is also there. And again, that is how we'll be monitoring your attendance and how you will receive the Active Airman Award for this year. But we'll have more on that later. So I'll open it up to any questions you had about the videos or how to access any of these things we've talked about so far.
Hey, Jamie, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you want to screen share and show people how to fill out the survey and get to the videos?
Sure. Give me a second. Yeah, let's see. Okay. Application. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So once you go to tulpelodge.org/virtual LLD, you'll see you have these 4 steps here. you can first go and watch the Lodge Advisors Minute, which is a video on YouTube. So that's that. Then you can watch the 3 training videos. That's step number 2. And again, this form will close January 1st. So you have plenty of time to get this done. So please don't worry about doing, sorry. Please don't worry about doing that today. So we have the training videos here. Again, there are emails. So if you feel uncomfortable asking a question or you had a question later that you don't have right now, feel free to email any of the presenters. And then after you've watched that, make sure to register or don't register for the virtual LD. That's right now. But you can complete the debrief form, which is what we talked about. Again, it's a quick 3, 2, 1. We ask for your name, your chapter, list 3 things that you learned, 2 things that you found interesting, and 1 question you have after watching the videos. So yeah, it's really basic stuff. If you have any questions, you can pipe up right now or email any of us at the email links that are on that page. But yeah. Does anybody have any more questions about this process or any of the content in the videos? If you are comfortable unmuting and talking, you can send your question in the chat. Okay, if you guys don't have any questions right now, that's totally cool. I will hand it over to Eric to talk about the Active Airman Award.
Thank you, Jamie, and you did a really good job explaining those LLD videos and the LLD program we put together. So I'm going to kind of tie that in with what we call the Active Airman Award. So pretty much in 2019, the Lodge Executive Committee for Tulpe Lodge 102 created what we call the Active Airman Award. It consists of 7 segments, which form one singular patch. The 7 segments include ordeal completion, brotherhood completion, banquet attendance, fellowship attendance, chapter involvement, committee involvement, and unit elections. So we have certain qualifications and certain things that you have to complete in order to receive each of those segments. And I'm going to kind of go through and explain how you request those segments, how you complete them, and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. Can everybody see my screen? A thumbs up from any of the lodge officers would be great.
We can see
Good,
it.
Jamie.
Perfect. So as you guys can see, this is our main hub or website for the Active Airman Award. On the top, it has the title Active Airman Award, and it gives a brief description about what it's about. And something that I didn't mention, but I definitely should, is that this is available to youth and adults in Tulpe Lodge. So if you guys are interested in getting involved and getting this patch, it's open to both youth and adult. So I already went over what the 7 segments are. As of right now, this is our patch that we have. It's still being updated and it's going to be produced soon, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. I want to go back up to the top for a minute because there's 3 boxes here that are really, really important to the process for Active Airman Award. First is the program overview brochure, if I can speak today. So I'll show you guys that. So this is the brochure with all of the requirements, all of the information you may need. It's printable. We have some also for the lodge that we hand out at different events as well. So it has all the information you need and any emails, links, that kind of stuff. The next flyer is the How Do I Get My Segments flyer. So this is the really updated thing we've worked on as lodge officers throughout COVID, is how are you going to get your segments? So first, you're going to complete this online form, which I'll show you in a second, and you're going to be able to pick them up at every year's lodge banquet. So I will show you that form. It is this blue bar right here. It's the Active Airman Award patch segment submission. You're going to have to put your first name, last name, what chapter you belong to, your membership level, and which of the following you've completed. Also, you will have to put who signed off on each of your segments that you completed. So I will actually. So to kind of close off my Active Airman talk, it's a really great award. The lodge officers have worked hard on creating this, and we hope you guys become active in it. After we go over some other stuff, we'll have another question and answer section that I would be happy to answer any questions you guys have. This process can be confusing sometimes, so I'm happy to answer them. And I'll put my email in the chat as well, treasurer@tulpelodge.org, and I'm happy to answer any email questions that you guys have. Thank you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Pat to talk a little bit about NEF.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. So for NEF at the moment, we are still moving forward with our committees and everything like that. So I know we've kind of nailed it home a little bit, but if you are interested in joining any of our committees on the lodge level, whether it be from helping to, set areas up, take them down, prepare meals, anything like that, sign up on our website, and we'll have one of our chairmen get in touch with you, whatever you're most interested in. And we're continuing to build our team from there. But yeah, we're excited to host in 2021 at Yagu Scout Reservation. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled for more information coming out. But yeah, join our team. But I'll turn it over to Jamie, I believe, and he'll keep us moving forward.
All right. So after Pat just sort of talked about the update on NEF, right? Is that correct? Sorry, I had to go do something, but we're back now. We're going to turn it over to Nate for Winter Fellowship. Give a quick update on that.
I'm just going to share my screen real quick so you can see. Dylan, do you want to drop that link? Nope. Can you see my screen at all?
All set.
Yeah.
What do you see? The Winter
We
Fellowship?
see the Winter
Winter
Fellowship,
Fellowship
page.
Okay.
page. All set.
So the link that is in the chat will take you to this page, and this is just our Winter Fellowship starter page. So it just gives us a little bit about our events, and this year it will be completely on Discord. It's an app called Discord. So if you're not already on Discord, you're going to want to make an account for that. This is a free event for all Narragansett Council members and Tulpe Lodge members in coordination with the two. To sign up, you're just going to go to this main page right here. You're going to register for Winter Fellowship, and then name, age group, and some other things to fill out, along with your full Discord name. That will probably be the biggest thing for that form. And so just some other things, we're going to be having a couple of video game tournaments and lodge and chapter elections, along with our dues flap competition. Thank you. Now I will pass it on back to Jamie.
Great, thanks for that update. And now we're going to go to Mr. Greg Golden, who's going to give a quick update about sort of our plans and what the future looks like in terms of how we want to do our lodge banquet.
Thank you, Jamie. So just a quick update for all of you. Basically, what we're doing for the banquet this year is we're going to be doing an all virtual banquet. Basically, what we're going to try to do is think about the normal lodge banquet that we do in person. We're going to basically take all the activities we do in person and try to put them online. So, for example, this includes a silent auction. We're going to be in the process of trying to set up a virtual silent auction to keep that going. On top of that, we're also going to be doing the awards as well as normal, just like that. Of course, any other big announcements and all the other things that happen at a normal lodge banquet you would see every year. So stay tuned for that. We'll be having a sign-up form coming out soon. Otherwise, if you have any questions, I'll be answering them in a little bit, I think. But other than that, yeah, that's about it. So I will send it back over to Jamie.
Okay, great. So now we're at another place where we can answer some questions. I know we had a question about signing off on segments, and I think Eric will be able to answer that.
Absolutely, and I'm happy whoever asked. I don't know who asked, but that is fine. And I'm happy somebody asked that question because that's very important. So pretty much there are many different segments. So for example, the committee qualification segment, the chairman for that committee will be able to sign off on that segment. For other segments such as lodge fellowships, brotherhood, ordeal, ones like that are mostly on a lodge level, any of the lodge officers or LEC members can sign off on that. So if you guys have any other questions about that, please email me. And with this virtual time, we can definitely try to sign off on it virtually, whether it's a quick email from me or a lodge officer saying you completed it or something like that. So we can definitely make changes for the virtual times. And back
Thanks,
to
Eric.
Jamie.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. We have another question about Discord. Pat, would you like to answer that one?
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. So our Winter Fellowship team, we've been meeting, for the past couple of weeks and had some pretty lengthy talks, well past 11 o'clock at night. But looking at Discord, so there are some video games that we're going to be hosting that'll require the use of Discord, but the entire event does not require Discord. So like we said, tulpelodge.org/Winter Fellowship right now just has some details for the event and the sign up, but that's where we're going to be building our entire program off of. The entire program is also not just video games. We have a ton of stuff that'll be going on in your home throughout the community. So even if you don't have Discord, there will still be activities for you, some other games. And again, not everything's going to be on a computer. We're going to, it's going to be the middle of winter, but we're still going to try to get you out of your house. I know I'm not big on video games and Discord, so I know programs I'm pushing for are going to be away from the computer. But yeah, so if you don't have a Discord account, you can create one simply because there are video games that are going to require it, but there's certainly plenty of program that's not Discord based and that's not a video game at all. But yeah, I'll turn it back to Jamie.
Thanks, Pat. We have another question about how to make sure that we know you attended LLD and how to receive credit for your presence here. Eric, do you want to answer that one as well?
Yeah, I can do that. And I'm also going to latch on another question about active airmen that was asked privately, but it will be a good answer for everybody. So for LLD, connecting it to active airmen award a little bit is the 321 debrief form that is on the LLD website must be completed in order to fulfill a qualification for the training segment or the training committee qualification. So if you look in the brochure under committee qualifications, there's the training one. Under that, it talks a little bit about the lodge leadership development. So in there, you'll have to fill out the 321 debrief form to let us know that you attended. Also, another question is, how do you know that you've already submitted the form for the patch segment request to make sure that us as lodge officers received that? That's a very great question, and that's something that we actually haven't totally planned out yet. But thinking about it, we can definitely get confirmation emails going so that we know, or you guys know, that you guys are going to be getting your patches. So that's something that will be coming in the near future. Great question. And also in the chat, active airman questions can go to leadership@tulpelodge.org. Thank you, Dylan, for putting that in there.
Okay, great. If there are no more questions,
I do have a few questions.
Great. Ask your questions.
Okay. First off, for the lodge banquet, if we're planning on hosting the event at on Zoom, I'm presuming that there's not going to be a actual banquet. Are we planning on renaming the event?
So I can kind of take some of the broad banquet questions for now, Matt. What it looks like at the moment is it's going to be virtual. It'll probably be either over Zoom or a live stream on Facebook or YouTube. But it'll most likely remain, the name as the Tulpe Lodge, annual banquet or the family banquet. Simply because, we're following our same program and structure that we traditionally do. We'll have a program, there'll be some people speaking, silent auctions, online and stuff. And we'll also be giving out our awards and everything as usual. So we'll be following the exact same program and structure that we traditionally do, just virtually. So there'll be a little bit of a change, but hopefully not too much. But any other questions, Matt?
Yes. So for Winter Fellowship, how are we going to tackle the issue of youth protection? Like you've discussed youth protection in relation to Discord.
Yep. So we've actually, that's actually been our largest discussion over on Discord, I should say, is on our meetings on Wednesday nights that we've been holding. We've been building our Discord server so that, you know, there's no private chatting between anyone whatsoever. We have it set up completely safe. We've been working with our advisor team and everyone that everything is set up completely YPT compliant. And, you know, come to live, no one will be able to access the Discord server until the live event. And once the live event begins, we'll have people moderating, you know, every form that we're using, over 18 and under 18-year-olds keeping an eye on everything. So yeah, we are YPT compliant with everything, and, you know, we do have plans in place for all that. But excellent question, Matt, and I'm glad someone's keeping an eye on us. But yeah.
And also, so the plans for Winter Fellowship are mostly via Discord, and I presume we have a lot of very strong events planned for the entire weekend.
Yeah, so Winter Fellowship, you know, it's kind of, we're still working on the structure. We're a little ways out, but I know we're announcing the event today. What it's looking like at the moment it'll be a Saturday program. So Friday night, you know, we're playing with the structure a little bit at the moment as to how we're going to, you know, throw a kickoff event and stuff. But it looks like all of our programming and all of that will take place primarily on Saturday. We'll possibly use Sunday to announce some of our winners of weekend-long tournaments or video games. But programming will primarily take place on Saturday, but we are still going to be doing something on Friday. As you know, Matt, we changed our rules of operations last year, so Friday night we might be conducting our annual lodge elections then, simply because that's a good time to do it and, you know, kind of kick off the event that Friday night before the Saturday program. But yeah.
Great. Thanks, Pat. I know we got a question about if a recording of this meeting will be available, and the answer is yes. You can find it on our social media accounts or on the YouTube link in a few days. If you need to find our YouTube, if you actually go on the LLD page and try to watch Mr. Paulson's Lodge Advisor Minute, that will be the YouTube page. So you can find it easily there again, or on any of the social medias. So you should be able to find this information at your pleasure. And if you have any other questions, you can email any of us. All our emails are on the page where all the LLD stuff is found. If there are no further questions, I'm going to pass it over to Pat to do a little recap.
Yeah, so thanks, Jamie. I know I've talked a little bit today, but I know we have a ton of different opportunities kind of up in the air right now between, you know, joining us for Winter Fellowship, the banquet, and still joining our New England Fellowship team. But there are still, you know, if you will, like normal operations of the lodge that we're trying to complete. So if you're interested in, you know, becoming a lodge officer, anything like that, a chapter officer, any level, our elections are coming up at Winter Fellowship, as I said a moment ago. So reach out to us. Leadership@tulpelodge.org actually goes to all 5 of our officers and our key advisors. So feel free to email that address, and we're happy to get you in the right channels. But yeah, if you're interested in a lodge office, chapter office, anything like that, please email us. But that also goes for committee chair positions. So we have tons of committees. We've been working on growing them and expanding them and defining their role over the past number of years. So whether it's communications, NEMAT, Alangamat, service, anything at all, or you even have an idea to start your own committee, please reach out to us. Leadership@tulpelodge.org will get you in touch with the current chairman to either, you know, fulfill their position or just join their team. We're always looking to grow those committees. One other thing I wanted to mention is, you know, Mr. Paulson and I were on an email chain, and we've kind of had some headway on OA High Adventure this year. And we did want to mention, and I think the link will be in the chat in a moment, that there are some scholarships available. We do have a few airmen who've signed up from our lodge for OA High Adventure. So do check it out. There are scholarships available. Yeah, pretty cool time. And with that, I do want to pass it over to the Northeast Region Chief Connor Power, who is here with us today, to give him a little bit of time to talk.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. And if any of you, I think I recognize a lot of the names on this Zoom. My name's Connor Power. I'm an Eagle Scout from Tantamus Lodge, which is, you know, one of your neighbors a little bit just to the north. I've met a lot of you, you know, at conclaves over the past few years. Last year, I served as section chief for a little bit of time before I was elected the Northeast Region Chief back in December. And obviously, kind of as you can imagine, a lot of my responsibility this year and pretty much a lot of my world has revolved around how the Order of the Arrow can operate in a remote or a virtual environment like the ones that we find ourselves in today. Obviously, a huge part of that is like making sure we can continue to do our day-to-day operations, doing things like getting our newsletters out, communicating with our members. But a huge part of it is the way that we're actually delivering the program to, the scouts and scouters of our organization. It's obviously really tough for us to do that because, I mean, before this, I had probably used Zoom like once or twice up until March, and then it's definitely skyrocketed, since then, and same like Zoom stocks. But obviously, like the focus on our virtual programming and the way that we go about that has really been a key focus of this year. So that's really why I'm so excited to be here today. I'm sure that we're all kind of in the same boat where we'd rather be, gathering in person and meeting our friends. I know that it's always a fun time for me when I can see my scouting friends, because it's usually not that often. But it's come to make me realize how much we should appreciate those past experiences that, have gotten us up to this point. At least for me, it's been kind of tough to kind of keep just plugging away at the year, given how everything has gone with all the disappointment. But I try to kind of hold on to those little moments in the past. Like one that I was just thinking of a minute ago when I was looking at someone wearing a Tulpe hat was when I went to my first conclave back in 2016, I think, that Madaka Wanda hosted for us up in Maine. And it was my first time. I had only joined the OA a few months before. So it was my first time seeing this weird thing called the section, interacting with people from whole other lodges. But it was a really cool thing now that I look back on it, especially kind of given where it's enabled me to go. But I can vividly remember being in awe when we all piled out of our like tiny white transport vans we were stuck in for like 6 hours. Meanwhile, Tulpe rolls up with their like matching hats and Frisbee tees and stuff like that on a coach bus. I always thought that you guys really looked like you had your act together at Conclave. And obviously, I was looking forward to seeing that this year. But even though we couldn't gather in person, I think it's great that we had the in-person NEF for last year or over the summer. But, obviously kind of going forward, I've tried to hold on to those little moments and keep those in the back of my mind. Another one that often comes to me is I tend to find things from training conferences like this. I went to NYLT, like probably I'm sure many of you, back in 2015 at one point when my Scoutmaster wanted me to become a patrol leader, and I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. And since then, I've been able to do like a lot of training through the Order of the Arrow, other, wings of scouting in general. And it's always been great to have those little, like those light bulb moments where you see somebody kind of turn the corner from being like just a scout who's kind of, maybe just working towards the program. They don't really have a vision or any goals set. But then what we kind of find through programs like this, especially through LLD, I tend to find we can really take those moments and find people who might not know what they're doing and set them on course to benefit others and to uphold the meaning of our obligation. Obviously, it's been really tough to do that in a virtual environment. We've kind of had to grasp at straws and find new ways to do stuff. But I think that, Tulpe in general has done a really great job at that specifically. I'm also really impressed by everything you guys are doing to get ready for the New England Fellowship last year. And, just knock on wood that everything's in good shape for 2021. But again, I'm really impressed with what you guys have done here today. Pat, your entire team, bravo. And again, just great job with everything you're doing to train the youth leaders of the next generation. And if there's ever anything I can do to help, let me know. But with that, I'll turn it back over to Pat.
Thanks, Jamie. But next, I do want to turn it over to Mr. Paulson to kind of give his closing before we turn it back to Jamie.
Thanks, Pat. So 2021 will mark our 5-year anniversary as a lodge. And no doubt 2020 has provided the most amount of unique challenges to us. We started the year really strong with a record attendance at our Winter Fellowship, our lodge banquet, and literally we had our joint event with the Cashel Alumni Association in February, then boom, lockdown happened. And I remember early on attending the LECs with everyone here on the call, and the challenge of what are the updates? And at the time, nothing was going on, and we were just kind of giving the status quo month to month. And then something great happened. In August, the restrictions started to open up, and we were able to provide in-person programming again. Granted, it was a fraction of what we've come to know and love, but we pulled off 6 ordeals. And what I found really inspiring about these 6 ordeals was, besides having capacity limits by various states and restrictions to think about, we made a hybrid model, a safe model for families to still go through their ordeal, and that then became a trend for other lodges in our section. The fact that we were able to have over 300 people at our ordeals, all 6 of them, from August to November, is quite the feat. In addition, we had a vigil weekend and a arrow corps, so our level of service nearly remained the same. So nearly 3,000 hours of service, essentially from August to November, which is a true feat. And honestly, the out of the box thinking really goes to the youth. You know, Pat and your team, you know this stuff the best. What's going to resonate? When we talked about having a virtual LLD, I know the first couple groans were, man, we're gonna be on front of a screen for 3 or 4 hours in one day, and it's like, well, you know, let's turn it on its head. And I like the idea of having a self-guided training experience, something unique has never been done before. So to that end, I commend the youth leadership of our lodge for pulling together and engaging programming, because unfortunately not every other lodge has had this opportunity. And that leads to my role as a adult advisor. It's been a true honor to serve alongside each of you. And I look forward to 2021 and beyond. And so if you're an adult, you know, consider getting involved, because this is a tremendous and rewarding opportunity. And, you know, it's true. Scouting, the OA is scouting's finest. And to that end, Pat, I thank you. I thank everyone for being here today.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Paulson. At this point, we've pretty much covered all of the topics we wanted to go over at the meeting. If you have any questions, please make sure to email them to any of the emails that can be found at the LLD page on our website. Just for a quick reminder, after this meeting, you can complete the 321 form, which can be found on the website like we talked about. And we also have a New England Fellowship interest form that will be dropping in the chat any second now. If you could fill it out, it's for committees for New England Fellowship, which we'll be hosting, presumably at Yagu. Pat, you look like you have something to say? Never mind, he does not have anything to say. It was just a rogue finger waving up in the air. Matt?
I just have one quick question I forgot to ask.
Right, go for it.
How are we doing with dues payments?
Pat, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so Matt, we are still working through our dues push. So, you know, we're still trying to get to our year-end goal. We're getting there, but, you know, it is trickling in. But again, we are still going to have to push for it. The link did just go in the chat, tulpelodge.org/dues. You know, we still have some outstanding members. I'm proud to say I paid my dues like Thursday night, I think. So, you know, if I'm sure there's somebody on this call who hasn't paid theirs yet too. But yeah, we are still pushing for dues, but I will turn it back to Jamie.
Thanks, Pat. So you have the 321, the NEF interest form that's also there, but we also do have a feedback form for this event that we just completed. We know there's definitely a lot we can work on, and we want to make sure that we get your input and how it was perceived on the other side of the event, so we can run future events like this better, and we can plan for the banquet. So please take a few minutes to fill that out. It will really help us planning our other virtual events.
Hey, Jamie, I think there's a question. John Schubert, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that the dues renewal still says 2020. I'm hoping I'm getting credit for 2021.
I can say yes, you are, and there will be a new link rolling out that says 2021. We're just trying to get the last few days before we recharter. We are really close to our membership goal for this year. I feel like a radio station trying to get your like. But yeah, we're almost there. We're like 2 days away, and then we can start talking about 2021 and beyond.
Okay, because when I was paying my dues the other night, I was intending it for next year's dues because I already paid this year's dues.
Also, as a quick recommendation for you guys who might be a little new to this or are returning members to our Zoom meetings, if you guys still have like friends in your troop who are involved in the Order of the Arrow, just send them a quick text, be like, hey, you should pay your dues. There's a cool patch. Yeah, you know, just a little thought like that is great for helping us out. And it'll help you be a better troop rep.
Great, thanks, Nick. Again, just a quick reminder, things you can do. You can do the 321 debrief form. We also have the NEF interest form in the chat, and we also have the feedback form in the chat. And again, if you want to revisit something we covered in this meeting, or you have a question that you think was answered and you forgot it, the meeting will be available sometime on our social media over the next few days. With that, I believe this meeting is somewhat officially over. You can feel free to leave, and please make sure you complete some of those forms. Thank you for coming.
Great job, Pat.
Great job, everybody.
Can some of these links be sent out by email? I'm trying to copy paste them all into my browser, but it's
We
Yeah,
can
I
definitely send a follow-up email out. Definitely.
all right, because I was trying to get them and there's so many of them. I'm like, oh, I'm duplicating these as I'm going, and you can't highlight the whole list and then copy paste it into Word and do it there leisurely at home. But
Yeah.
thanks.
Hey, Dylan, are we gonna
Sending out.
Take a picture of your screen and try, and then you'll have it for later.
Oh, then you have to type it all. Yeah.
Feel that.
I figured a quick copy paste over into Word and all the hyperlinks would still work, but it won't let me copy it. It's not available.
Yeah, I
We'll
am
definitely get a follow-up
sending
email
it
out.
right now. So
All right, thank you.
those at the event will receive all the links.
Text just went to the Wampanoag chapter. Pay your dues.
Got a quick question.
Go right
Yeah, go
ahead.
for it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Is the feedback form for this session going to be emailed out? Because I'm calling in.
Yeah, we will email it out.
That's great. Thank you very much. Great
No
job,
problem.
guys, especially all those videos as well. I saw them all the other day. You guys did a great job putting that all together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.